Hello, and welcome to this beautiful offering page for my holistic mentorship that really is at the intersection of creative expression, soul expansion, and simple business strategy. So, I work with women and men who are building businesses and brands and lives that deeply reflect who they are. Women who are deeply ambitious, highly self aware, big visionaries, and they're no longer interested in creating success at the expense of their own well being or mental health. Like, they've already done that, they already know how to make things happen, but you're in a phase of your life and business now where you're being really, really intentional about how you feel in the process and honoring your cycles and your rhythms in your highest alignment. Most of the women who come to me know that this is not about a quick fix, that they really want to be deeply immersed in mentorship, that they know that when they're held long term in a container, as they're growing and evolving and they're having that support, they're having someone shine the light back on their blind spots or bounce creative ideas back and forth, right? You're no longer at this phase where you're kind of piecing together different strategies and hearing all of these different voices of do this or do that. Like, you really are driven. You have your own inner light, your own inner fire that is guiding you, but you love to be in that space of mentorship. And I always say, like, you can succeed on your own. We all can succeed on our own. But why would you want to? It's so much more fun, it's so much more expansive, and you can really collapse the timeline around getting those results because as much as we do have that power within ourselves to self-reflect, self-lead, self-coach, when you're working with someone else, they're going to give it to you straight. Right? We all have this self-protection mechanism, even those of us who are like the most ambitious, the most disciplined. It's like I know from coming from a performing background, like when I have someone there as like my cheerleader, my coach, my mentor, like I'm gonna collapse time, gonna get those results so much faster, and I'm gonna feel better along the process because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, right? It's really about creating a beautiful, big, expansive business that fuels not just your soul, but also your lifestyle. Okay, so usually women come to me in three different phases. The first one is this metamorphosis. You might have just gone through a big dark night of the soul, a big up level, some type of like identity shift or change where you see the world differently. The way that you teach, the way that the wisdom that's coming through, something has shifted, and you're now trying to find this new way of showing up. You already know how to show up as your previous version of yourself, but this is kind of like a rebirth. So someone who's gone through a big transformation, you still have those business savvy skills, you're still grounded in yourself, but you're really wanting a guide to walk alongside you as this new vision comes to fruition. This is one of my favorite spaces to help women. I have a whole masterclass called Metamorphosis, which walks you through when you're embodying a new transformation story. The second phase is expansion. So this is for the woman, like you've already done the work, the healing work, the leadership, you've already honed in on your craft, and you're just like ready for momentum. You're ready for that big quantum leap. You're ready to just like, boom, let's go. Let's harness the momentum, make those bold moves, make those decisions. And this is for a woman who's really in a certain state of mind. It doesn't mean that you still don't have challenges or we're going to have to work through things along the way, but you're really in that like, let's go energy, momentum, like I'm ready. And then the third phase that women come to me is in this phase of refinement and mastery. And this is such a beautiful phase because it's a space where you're sharpening your gifts, you're sharpening your intuition, you're really elevating your craft, you're moving with deeper intention, and it's about mastering deeper. So this is someone who's not at all at the beginning. They've maybe already ran a couple of businesses. They've already had success. They've already had those 10, 20, 30K months, multi six figures, but you're really at this phase of excellence and curating high quality experiences for your clients. And I love this as someone who is super visual and all about creating an experience for clients. I love helping clients in this phase of refinement. 6 ways that my mentorship is different. So first and foremost, your girl has 9 Leos in her chart. So I've got a lot of fiery energy. I'm very artistic, as you can probably tell from my brand presence, but I'm deeply grounded, practical, and pragmatic, and more than you probably think. I have built 2 businesses to 6 figures and beyond. I had my first 6 figure business by the age of 20. I was that ambitious girl, and I know what it takes to build sustainability. I don't romanticize execution. Like, I deeply understand discipline, grit, and consistency, and my clients understand that as well. We can be leaning back in the feminine and receiving, but we also have to let the masculine structures support us in our business so that we can have that growth and that flow without falling into cycles of burnout, which, hello, I've been there many, many times. The second thing is I am extremely intuitive, very, very psychic. I'm able to really tap into different soul lessons, different intuitions that are coming through specifically to your journey, your timeline. And so bringing that practical aspect with the intuition is so incredibly valuable. And I know that's one of the things that my clients love most about me. The third is that obviously the company is called Untamed, right? So this is all about you doing your things your way. I'm never, ever, ever going to put you in a box or tell you that you have to express yourself a certain way or you have to implement certain strategies. This is all about really attuning to your unique success signature, what works for you, what honors your rhythm, your cycles, your desire, and your vision. If you've ever been in a mentorship before where you're being told you have to do something a certain way and it's a full somatic body no, like, this is not how we run beautiful, expansive businesses today, especially as a feminine business owner. Because we know we can force it, but we don't want to. We want to do things our way, right? So I deeply care about the way that you're growing, the way that you feel in the process. On the flip side, fourth, I am someone who is quite direct. I do have a 5 line. I'm a 5/1 projector. I mean, just being a projector in and itself, like, hello, yes, we just see things differently, but I do have that 5 line, and I will say things like they are, right? I do come back to that practicality. I have a lot of flow and artistry and the muse in my own archetypes, my own expression, but I know how to get down to business, and I know how to tell you like what's going to work, what's not going to work. And there is that beautiful fine line, right, between the practicality but also the intuitive guidance. The fifth thing is that I have always had this beautiful gift of knowing how to weave the golden thread between everything. Like, I can work with a client and immediately see, okay, here are your challenges in your life. Here's your opportunity for your greatest gifts. Here's your money channels. Like, here's where you're going to have the best opportunity to monetize this and grow this in a bigger way, and weave it all together so that you really understand the bigger picture of your brand story, not just in the way you present it publicly, but also like you deeply understanding this is who I am. This is why I was born. This is the mission that I am meant to do here, right? And I'm able to see that and reflect that back. And that in itself is just such a breath of relief for my clients, because it takes away all of that like mind scatter that we can have sometimes when we're trying to like piece things together. And I'm just like laser sharp projector energy. Here it is. And the beauty is that we're always evolving, right? So we're never just fully defined by one thing or one gift or one business. It's like, how do you get to take all of this at every iteration of your evolution and your expression? I always say that when you grow, your message and your business is going to grow with you, not just in terms of your offer suite, but also in terms of your messaging, your stories, your standards, your expectations, your boundaries. Like, everything grows with you. And the last thing is that I really love to work with women who value that devotion. They value sustainability. They value their own fulfillment. Like, they know how to work hard. They know how to do the things. They're efficient, they're strategic, but you are really at a phase where you're building things consciously now. I think we've seen this wave of women following a different blueprint and they'll achieve success, but then something else falls apart, their health, their family, whatever it may be, or they're not feeling fulfilled. And so my mission is to really help women become anchored back into the truth of who they are, and not just in the cute quote graphic kind of way, like speak your truth, but really truly in every essence, every cell of your body, have that confidence and conviction to speak your truth and continue to put your message out there and grow to whatever level you want. There's no rules on you're only successful if you check off these boxes. Like ultimately, I believe that you being your most joyful, fulfilled self is success, and you get to have a beautiful business and a vehicle that is your source of income and your source of safety and security, and bringing this all together in just a beautiful soul-led business. So if this is resonating with you and you've been wanting to work with me, I have different options on this page. You probably got a sense that I prefer to work with women long-term because we're able to really do a deeper dive, go through everything from the creative expression, the marketing, the messaging, to the actual, what are the strategies that we're implementing? How are we scaling? How are we creating monthly recurring revenue? How are we looking at the bigger picture of our finances? How are we letting our wealth grow for us? And then alongside the actual spiritual ascension, for me, this is just a full holistic mentorship experience, because it's not just how much money you make, but it's also the soul lessons you're learning along the way. It's not just the message that you're putting out there and who you're serving, but it's also you like stepping into your highest timeline and being the highest expression of yourself. So if this is calling to you, I invite you to reach out to me, and I would love to be on this journey with you.